Weird. I don't know why the last video cut off, but it's fine because this is where you should have stopped anyway. So make sure that from lesson 1, you did your value scale of 8 boxes, no box value scale, and then a gradation between 2 different colors. I highly suggest this pink and green. It is delicious. All right, so go ahead and turn the page. Before we start on our project for this week, we're going to practice the skills we need before we start. That's how this works. For this, though, I want to make it easy as possible. So we need to build up some lines like we did with our blind contours, because that's a skill we're going to practice. So let's do a couple 30-second blind contours. Nothing quick. I mean, nothing long. Just trying to get some lines on the page so you can practice. All right. So I'm going to do a 30-second blind contour. I'm going to pick my hand because that's easy. All right. So just like if it's a Dora the Explorer, just go ahead and draw with me. Swiper, no swiping. All right. All right. Cool. Go take my sketchbook, turn it around. We'll do another hand. It's like, I'm number 1. Okay, cool. Look at that. Took us a whole minute just to draw, get some lines on the page. See, not a big deal. So now I'm going to take those colored pencils that I had from my box of supplies that I put somewhere. Here we go. Colored pencils! So now what I want to do is I want to create a sense of kind of space. I know that we'll talk about space more next project, but I just want to introduce it because we've talked about it in the principles notes. Space is positive space and negative space. Positive space being the object, negative space being the space area around the object, as well as space tells you where things are in a 3-dimensional plane if it's that kind of a drawing. So we're going to kind of play with space with this jumbled spaghetti of lines. So a shape is any area defined by 1 or more lines, right? A circle, 1 line, square, 4 lines. So in here, we have plenty of organic shapes. Geometric shapes are your math shapes, like triangles, circles, squares. Geometric shapes are everything. Sorry, organic shapes are everything but that. So like most of the shapes. So if you see here, from drawing the 2 things overlapping, I've got these cool little shapes that are kind of chilling here. By creating these gradations, we're now going to play with space. So it's going to kind of push some things into the foreground and to push some things out of the background. And so it's going to be this weird kind of almost optical illusion thing. So let me show you. I'm going to take my pencil, use orange, and I'm just going to pick this cell here. I'm going to go value scale from dark. To light. And then maybe I'll pick this shape here. I'll switch colors. Maybe I'll put some blue right here. And I'll do blue right here. So do about I don't know, 15 or so shapes in your sketchbook, just practicing, looking for shapes, taking your colored pencils, and making gradations out of them. Sometimes they're going to be these big shapes, and they'll make your job a lot easier. Sometimes there's those small shapes, and that's a little bit trickier. Gotta have a little more control and patience. The big thing on this is not rushing and just being chill and focusing on what you're doing. It doesn't take a lot of time. This isn't busy work. What I want you to do is think, though, positive versus negative space. If positive space is the object, well, we can't really recognize an object. Like, yeah, it's a thumb, but still. So if you think about it, my positive space is this kind of big blob around here. Just like in my final drawing, I could say that like my positive space is kind of all this space that kind of goes around and borders all of the lines. Whereas here, when there's nothing, this could be the negative space, space outside the object. Same here. This is all negative space. So focus on only doing the gradations in the positive space, the space made up by the object. Even if it's something big and open like this, we can be creative in our problem solving. Now, even though I have this big old area, I can still use my gradation That's a little sloppy, but you get the idea. Clean it up a little bit with one of the strokes so it looks smoother. Cool. Here's an example of what I don't want to see. So let's say this is one of your weird shapes or whatever. I don't want to see this. That's no. Or this. I just colored it in. No. It's not fast. This isn't a fast thing, but it's also not like super slow either. Like just, like my estimation, maybe 10 minutes of work just to do about 20 different shapes. Then once that's done, go ahead and pull up lesson 3 to work on your project for this week. Before you do that though, make sure you're turning the picture of 20 different shapes. I'm not going to sit here and do 20 in front of you. I'll let you problem solve that on your own. All right. Have a good one.